I've been getting a lot of questions, repeat questions actually, and I get that a lot in my line of work. For example, when are you going to review Demon Souls, or Dark Souls, or whatever it's called? When are you going to grow your hair back? Why are you so incredibly stupid? Why don't you take off the nostalgia goggles? You know, stuff like that. I get those questions a lot, and I get a lot of repeat questions a lot. But there are two questions I've been asked a fair amount lately that I want to talk about because they both have the same answer. Those questions are, why don't you review new games more? I'll discuss that more in a minute. And why is it that you don't actually put a number or a label or some kind of scoring system into your videos? Well, I'll just give you the answer right now. It's because I'm not a game reviewer. But this whole video, I want to do this whole video just to discuss the whys and the wherefores of that, to really try to explain my mentality to you guys. So I hope you'll bear with me on this. First of all, one of the things I'm accused of a lot, actually, is being what I like to call a FNAF. A FNAF. Yes, oh, the older stuff was infinitely better, and all this newer stuff was trash. Okay, I can't actually do it. I'm not good at faking that kind of thing. Something I disagree so strongly with. But the point here being, I've been accused of being a nostalgia, rose-tinted glasses, idiot. A lot, actually. And one of the questions that always gets tagged onto that, why don't you look at new games, is it because you're a nostalgia and an idiot, right? Before we continue, let me clarify something, because I know someone's going to take offense at this, because it's the internet. I don't mean there's something necessarily bad with nostalgia. I don't mean there's necessarily something wrong with liking something old better than something new. I don't mean any offense to anybody who is actually not an idiot at all, okay? I'm talking about the kind of person who, and I've seen several people like this, who will go out of their way to say, well, we haven't had any innovation in the industry in forever, and all the old stuff was infinite. You know what? Let me use a direct example. I hear, over in World of Warcraft, all the damn time about how vanilla was infinitely superior, and if only we could go back to when WoW was in vanilla, when it was worse in literally every way! I could go down a list and prove to you how vanilla WoW was worse fundamentally in every way. I've even talked to a few of those people and asked them, well, did you like this? Did you like the crappy talent system that was just a mix match? Well, no. Did you like the fact that 3 of the classes were completely broken and had no actual use? Well, no. Did you like reagent components for casting? Well, no, that was irritating. Did you like having to actually figure out a group by standing around an Ironforge for 3 hours and hope it stayed together? No. I could keep going. Point is, that's the kind of person I call, without question or hesitation, an idiot. The person who looks at the past through nostalgia glasses and says, everything was better then. If you're paying attention, this is the kind of thing that always gets me pissed off, because it's an absolute. It's a binary thing. Better or not better, Anybody who knows me knows I'm always kind of more of a middle-of-the-ground, grayscale sort of a person. Now, yes, there were actually some things in WoW Vanilla that aren't there now that I kind of miss, personally, as a preference thing. Even though they are provably inferior to what we have now, there's a few things that I miss about that. But the point is, that's the kind of person I'm calling an idiot. So I just wanted to clarify that for anybody out there who was concerned. Moving on. If I haven't already made my point clear about why I don't consider myself one of those kind of nostalgia persons, let me explain 2 things. 1. In many cases, I prefer the sequel to the original. Mainly because the sequel's better. Which do I prefer? StarCraft or StarCraft 2? StarCraft 2! Don't get me wrong, StarCraft was a great game, and Brood War was an incredible game, but StarCraft 2 blew it out of the water as far as I was concerned. It was so good! I need to stop talking about Blizzard games, because everyone's going to just accuse me of being a Blizzard fanboy. That's another thing I get all the time. Portal 1 and Portal 2, okay? Portal 1 was groundbreaking. Out of nowhere, just... Nobody expected that in the orange box. I didn't even buy the orange box. I was like, what would be the point of that? Oh, I could get this other Portal game, woohoo. And then my friend Eric was like, you need to play this. You need to play this Portal game. And I played it, and I was blown away by it. I beat it in about 36 minutes, actually. But still, it was so incredible. I immediately went back and played it again. Which is always, in my opinion, the sign of a really good game, by the way. One of the signs, I should say. But Portal 2, I was so pumped. I was ready. And it came out, and I played it. Oh, and I loved it. I loved every moment. I was on the edge of my seat. I was so into it. They delivered on a awesome game. It was a different kind of game from Portal, and I've talked about this before. One of the things you can really do with a sequel is build on the concepts and take it in a different direction, and that's what Portal 2 did. It was a little less about the pure puzzle design and more about the world building, the entertainment, the adventure of it, and the exploration, I guess is the word I would use. And I liked that. I loved it. So I liked Portal 2 better than I liked Portal 1. And you can crucify me for that if you really want to. That's okay. I don't mind. But my point in all of this is that you can't accuse me of something like that. Let me give you one final example. Mario Galaxy 2, in my opinion, is superior to Mario Galaxy 1 as a game. I enjoy Mario Galaxy 2 more. I've played Mario Galaxy 2 more. Mario Galaxy 1 was way more innovative. Did way more new things, did tons of awesome stuff, really is probably the last Mario game that actually did something new with the series. And I hate to say that because I enjoy several of the new Mario games. But Galaxy 1 was probably the last one to really try something new. But Mario Galaxy 2 had better level design, better sound design, better music, overall better presented graphics, wonderful addition, love the additional content, blah 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 blah. So yeah, I'm sorry. I will acknowledge Mario Galaxy 1 as being the innovator, just like I'll acknowledge Phantom Hourglass as being the innovator. But Spirit Tracks and Mario Galaxy 2 are just better games. So now that I'm done defending myself to people, let's get on with my point, shall we? Because there is that is I wanted to do that whole thing just to get that out of the air and just fling it out there and be done with it. Because it's not even part of the point, really. Not part of my point, at least. I just know that some people are going to accuse me of that. The really big reason why I don't review new games or do ruminations of new games is because I don't have any freaking money. I know that's really simple and short, but that is what it comes down to. Buying new games as they come out is expensive. You all know this. We all have to pick and choose. We have our time and money budgets, and we have to parse and parcel out every single piece to make sure that we actually get to do something and try to enjoy these miserable lives we have to drag ourselves through. So, yeah, try to imagine buying every new game that came out, whether you were interested in it or not, and then doing a review about it. Well, that's ludicrous, right? That's because reviewers don't do that. See, for those of you who are not aware of this, game reviewers get the so-called, actually I forget what the specific term is, but it's a reviewer copy. It's literally a copy of the game they give to a company and say, here, give us a review. IGN gets a copy, Escapist gets a copy. That's nothing of note, but I'll get to that more in a minute. Point is, if I was actually a game reviewer, I would have free copies of games coming to me. Now, obviously, I'm not. Nobody knows who the hell I am. Nobody's asking me to review their games because I'm just this little guy on the internet. And don't mistake me, I'm grateful for all the viewers I have. I'm grateful for how far I've come. But you get the point. The difference between me and, what's a really good example? Pro Jared. The difference between me and Pro Jared is that he's got a few million views and he actually has tons and tons of games that he has copies of to review for his network. Or Total Biscuit is another good example. I'm not part of a network. Spoiler alert, I'm actually not a part of anything still. I'm still just me. The only person working on this stuff is me still. I'm not complaining, because I want to talk about that in a moment too. I'm not 100% sure if it was offered to me, I would take a game reviewer job. And I kind of want to discuss why. One is, I'm not really sure I would actually be good at it. See, you remember that other question, why don't you put a score on your things? I do actually have a scoring system. I've explained it to a few people. It goes from -10 to 10, right? And it counts 0, so it's a 21-point system. The point here is 0 is pretty much completely non-committal, no feelings on it, or everything has been canceled out by everything else. Make sense? Everything on the negative is net negative. Everything on positive is net positive. You've heard me use those terms a dozen times, at least. So even a game that scored a 1 on that scale, or a 0.5 on that scale, would still be a net positive. Make sense? And I feel that that system is a lot more fair and gets across a lot more information than the 1 to 10 system, or 1 to 5 system, God forbid, that some people use, Just my take on it. But I feel like some people don't actually want to hear that or think about that. They just want a bite that says, well, here it is. And I'm not really sure I'd be good at that. Now, it's actually worth noting that I get asked a lot what I think about Game A or Game B or Game C. Not just on my channel or in my streams, but in real life, too. I'll have someone come to me and say, well, this game just came out, Arsh. What do you think of it? What do you think? Should I grab it? And I can give them a well-reasoned response because either A, I know the person, so I can actually give them a personal response, which I'm fine with, or B, I've already done my research on it because I do my research like crazy on virtually every game that's coming out because I'm interested in it and I love knowledge in general. So I can at least give you some kind of an informed opinion, even if I haven't played the game myself, saying, well, here's the pluses and here's the downsides. If you like this, you'll probably like that. I don't know. It's kind of a judgment call, but I'm not sure I'd be good at reviewing. But that's the first problem. The second problem is, well, kind of what I already mentioned. I'm not a part of a company. I'm part of me, I think. Yeah, okay. Still part of me. So, like I said, I can't remember names off the top of my head, but, the Total Biscuit, actually, that's a bad example. Let's use Yahtzee over Escapist. Yahtzee doesn't actually get a copy of a game to review. The Escapist gets that copy of the game. And the Escapist gets however many copies of the game, and then they shuffle them out amongst their reviewers and say, you do this, you do this, you do this, right? Now, that difference is finite, but it is significant. Because the point is, game companies don't give out review copies to people, for the most part, not unless they're very well known or have a huge consumer base. Because the whole point of a review copy is to generate buzz and hype about their game. In fact, that is the only point about it, really. So, I sincerely doubt that, it being not a part of anything, that anyone would send me anything, and I would have to be a part of a company in order to get to that point. Well, not necessarily, but you get the point. And if I was a part of a company, there's two other risks that rear their ugly head. One is the very real possibility of a game coming across my table that is, I don't actually have anything physically available. Let's just pull one out of a hat. Okay. All right, this week I have to review Final Fantasy All the Bravest. Wonderful! I can't wait to see... Oh, wait, what? No! No! Those maniacs! They blew it all to hell! Oh, those bastards! So, that would be kind of a problem, because you don't get to choose what you review. You review whatever came across your table. It's not even everything that just came out that's new, either, for that matter, because, again, usually you're not going to be the only reviewer. You're going to be one of several. I could live with the former. The latter would be irritating. I can't imagine what it'd be like to have a day when, this is fictional, but just to fictionalize something. Let's say Ride to Hell Retribution and Watch Dogs both came out on the same release schedule, right? And they were sent to the company I work for, and we have to review them, and I got Ride to Hell! And that's when I popped the Cyanide Capsule. Anyways. So, that's one risk. But the other risk, I could kind of live with that. Especially if I was doing my own thing and people just sent me directly stuff. I know there's a few video reviewers who do that, who literally they are their reviewer, and they get sent copies. That'd be nice. But there's one other problem with being a part of a company. And that problem is the ever-present risk of being compromised. See, I know exactly what it's like to be someone whose job depends on making someone else's life worse. I've worked in the tech industry, and that's really all I feel I have to say. And I'm not exactly proud of that fact. I know exactly what it's like to tell someone, sorry, I can't fix your problem. And know in my mind that I can't fix their problem because they aren't paying for the right to fix that problem, even though I, the person, knows exactly how to fix their problem and can do it in 20 seconds. But I can't, because my boss would come right back after me and chaw my ass off for that. So there's two problems that arises with in this situation. One, what if someone comes to me and says, well, I don't care that you're still playing this game and still trying to ruminate it, still thinking about it, still doing your research. I need a video by tomorrow. Okay. So the work would get a little more rushed as a result, right? Which would probably automatically lower the quality because that's what happens when you rush anything. Well, okay, 90% of the time. But the other thing would be worse. Because the other thing would be the possibility of the boss coming to me and saying, here's Ride to Hell Retribution. And here's the bonus that's coming with it when you give it a good review. Now, let's make this absolutely clear. Buying reviews happens, okay? Anybody saying otherwise is simply wrong. I'm sorry. It's not as widespread as some people think, but it is common. It is something that is acceptable norm. And so the possibility of that problem existing at all would bother me. Let's take The Escapist, for example. Now, I actually don't know personally any instances of The Escapist having a purchased review, so that's a good track record. It may not last forever, but at least it's a good track record. So if I got hired there, that'd be great. And, hey, reviews, But there would always be that lingering danger, that lingering threat in the back of my mind as my spider sense is tingling and saying, well, you know, someday you may get a thing and be told, do a good review on this, or do a bad review on this, because that happens too, for reasons I don't feel like going into. And that's kind of why I'm not sure I want to be a game reviewer. Now, that being said, I want to be a game reviewer. No, bear with me. I'm not actually going to start pushing this forward anytime soon, because I'm still trying to get caught up on a dozen other videos. The deathly ill thing, which took a year out of my life, in more ways than one, going in for surgery twice, and then the recovery time, and then the consulting job, and then the marathon. Yeah, I'm really behind on videos. I want to get caught up. I want to get done with the Kingdom Hearts series. I want to get done with, you know, Season 2 of Voyager. I want to really start pushing the Oblivion things. I've got a few other things that I have basically stalling, or I shouldn't say stalling, but, you know, I'm stalling everything else to finish these things. I want to get to what I call caught up before I take on anything new. But I kind of like the idea of a new section. You know, I've already got my ruminations. I've already got my role plays. I've got my stream, of course, which I do whenever I have spare time. But, and of course I've got my short discussions, like the video you're watching right now. But I've been thinking about another little section called Arshian Guy's Recommendations. And it would be for people who are in the exact same situation I am right now. Don't have a lot of money, want to try something new. And it would be going through games on Good Old Games and Steam and anything else that I can't think of off the top of my head. The idea actually came to me as I was generally just browsing Good Old Games, and I started looking at the list and like, I would like to try that out, and I would like to try that out. And they're about $5 to $6 each. So I could theoretically at least afford them, give a bit of a recommendation and say, here's what I think. It would be probably a much shorter video than my ruminations, because the point is not to ruminate about them, so much as to say, I recommend this or don't, and here's why. And then I could toss you out a video, and you guys could say, oh, that sounds like fun, I'm into A, B, and C. And then pick it up, because again, $5 to $6. What do you guys think? Let me know. Either way, I'm going to talk to you on the flip side.